back to another awesome episode of Meet Us, You, Them, all of us in the middle.
Yes.
We're just going to meet all together in the middle. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, whichever name isn't taken out there, we're the rest.
We're that one.
That's right. Okay, I'm not going to do last names this week. I don't know what was going on. So I'm Shannon. This is
Crystal.
We're your co-hosts for this lovely episode tonight. We've had a lot going on. I think we say that every week.
It's always true.
It is always true. And I know we're not the only ones out there.
Yeah.
I mean, life
That's
is busy
everybody.
for all of us.
So true.
Yes. Okay, let's see. This week, I started a new job. I've got a couple of great jobs right now I really like.
Yeah.
And the one job I've been doing for a while, the neighborhood welcome, is so much fun. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. It's all paying off now.
It's totally paying off. It's been 3 months of hard work.
Yeah,
But
it's all in front of people.
It
And all the stuff you
is.
are so good at.
Thanks. That's nice. But it's really fun to give the packages out to the newcomers.
Yeah.
Like even people that have lived in Okotoks for a while, it's just so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was another program that shall remain nameless.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing that. But anyways, this one is just so much better.
Yeah.
It's it's so fun. These bags. So basically, it's a neighborhood welcome program, and it welcomes newcomers and the businesses in town all put into it. And we've just got some epic swag and really good gift certificates and coupons, and it's just really fun. I got to meet 10 awesome families this week, and I get to work with amazing businesses and people in my community, and it is a good fit. I get pretty
Oh,
stoked.
for sure. I can't think of anybody that I know that would be better at something like this than you.
All right, I'll buy you dinner
Yeah.
after. And I started working with the Crystals, Minerals and Fossils rock shop this week, and that's a ton of fun. I don't know. I'm sure I think we're probably going to be up to 5 listeners now. Believe in the power of crystals and the healing and just the energies they bring into your house. And it's really, really cool. It's really, really cool. There's a lot of things to approach in this world with an open mind because this world works in amazing ways, and it is all energy based.
Yeah.
It's
I
very
feel
cool.
like spending time in that space would just be healing in itself.
It is. And so I was trying to figure out, because I'm in this beautiful crystal shop that has hundreds of different types of amazing crystals. And the lovely owner, Michelle, and her daughter, Christina, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to remember all this, like which does which. And she said chakras, the colors of the chakras. And I went, yeah. She said, well, same thing applies. So the red stones are for grounding. And I was like, oh my gosh. So it's very interesting that it all ties in. It makes total sense. But anyways,
Okay.
That's very, very cool.
That kind of makes sense to me. I think darker stones too. Sometimes they're like more grounding.
Yes.
And then like lighter, like the ones that are iridescent and stuff like that. Those are more
uplifting,
Yeah.
kind of intuitive, more energy. But it's interesting because now that I know the chakras and the colors of the chakras, and I look around the store, everything stands out so much. You're like, oh, there's all the pinks. There's all.
Yeah.
And I am so drawn to certain crystals in there. And it's funny to watch people come in because there'll be the skepticals come in, and then there'll be the people who are really into it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether they're skeptical or not, you can watch them, and they're literally drawn around the store. And they will pass 50 different things and then just stop. And then they have to reach out and touch that. And you're like,
So true.
it's so cool. And it's usually what we need. It's not going to be the same every time. But anyways, speaking of what we need, let me see. Awesome Crystal helped me yesterday in giving me something I really needed and getting me out to the mountains yesterday. I really needed that. It's really hot here right now.
It is, yeah.
And which is a good thing, but we haven't had much summer.
No, so it's long overdue. So
Yeah.
it's good. But we wanted to go hiking. We wanted to go out, but it was so hot. And I think I was initially the one that was like, I don't want to do a big hike in plus 30. It's just too hot. We've done that before. We don't need to do that.
I did 3 days in Waterton of that, and it kicked my, what.
Yeah, exactly. So I think initially though I was like, let's just have a beach day. Like we'll just go to the little beach here in town, but that's so not your vibe. And I'm like, I don't know, we could just like hang out and chat. Because it had been a while, a bit since I'd seen you.
Yeah.
We had a lot to catch up on. I'm like, I don't really care where we do it. We could lay in the sand and do it, or float on something out in the water.
That would have been okay.
Yeah. So I was like, that's what I was kind of picturing.
Yeah.
But then I don't know, you're going to be gone for a while and you're not going to be around the mountains. And I'm like, Shannon doesn't want to spend a day off, not in the mountains. So it's like, let's just go do like a little hike to a lake and a waterfall and go
and
swimming.
that was perfect.
It was perfect, actually, yeah.
It was amazing.
I loved it too.
And it was a bluebird sky day. There wasn't a cloud around, and we passed the people going down as we were coming up because it was later in the day. And we got all the way out to Edworthy, and we had the whole place to ourselves until we were like getting dressed.
Thank
and then
God.
People, I guess. Well,
Time
you were
was good.
fine.
I was, yeah.
You at least wear clothes.
What? I still wouldn't have been super happy if they
Better than being in the birthday suit, which I seem to be partial to doing from time to time. No, I do it all the time. Who am I joking? Anyways, yes. So it was a great day. It was wonderful swimming. It was beautiful. The water was ice cold.
So cold.
Yeah.
The coldest water I've ever been in, for sure.
Yeah, it was cold. My hands went numb quickly, which is never happens. It's only happened a couple times in all the lakes. So yeah, it was cold. It was good. It was refreshing though.
It was though. Yeah. I was still like, it actually cooled me off the whole way back and all the like the whole evening. I came home and had like a warm shower.
Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah.
And see, I could have jumped in Elbow Lake again.
Oh no.
I Gary, this gentleman I'm dating, would say I'm a sadist because I like the cold water, but I don't love cold water. I just love what it does for me, for inflammation and all of that. And yes, it is good. It is good. Okay, so on our hike though, we were talking about the two amazing books you have read, in particular one you're reading now, which is fascinating, and I love it when you talk about your books a bit, so I know you don't want to spend the whole time getting the whole deal, but let's talk about your book you're reading right now.
Okay. Well, it's changing the way I think about a lot of things. And I love it because it's got super strong women characters. And I'm just super drawn to that right now. Like just anything where women are like overcoming adversity and kind of changing like society's thoughts on them and that kind of thing. But basically, it's a Jodi Picoult book called By Any Other Name. And it's oh my God.
By Any Other Name's a Shakespearean novel.
Yeah.
Is it not a play?
It's a quote from a.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
It's Shakespearean.
It's Shakespearean nature, and so the whole thing is, but basically, it kind of is it's historical fiction, but it might be more nonfiction than fiction in some ways. So it basically a lot of it takes place in Elizabethan times, where like Shakespeare is a character in the story, but basically in the story he's like a bit of a slacker, like a bit of a grifter, and kind of he's not a great writer. He's an actor in the plays, the plays that they put on at the time. But basically he would take like people that wrote plays and wrote different things, poetry and whatever, sonnets and whatever. He would take them and submit them under his name because he couldn't really write them himself, and then he would give a bit of the payment to the person. So anybody that couldn't write under their own name for whatever reason,
like women, yes,
because women couldn't, they literally weren't allowed to write, and so there's a pretty strong argument that this actually could be the truth, because there apparently, like a lot of Shakespeare's work, there's a lot of Italian reference. There's one of the plays takes place in Denmark. There's a lot of musical reference, and he doesn't really have a musical background. Like basically a lot of the stuff that was written and a lot of the nuance, there's no way he could have known about this because he wasn't well-traveled. He had a family. There's no evidence of him ever really traveling much. He doesn't know much about music, that kind of thing, where his writing, some of it is really detailed and really, like you really would have to know.
Okay, and that ties into the main character of the book,
who is it's Emilia Bassano. And so I've Googled this since, and she is a real person, or she was a real person. She was actually the first published poet.
So that ties in to make some validity
Correct.
to it all.
Like our first published female poet, I should say. So she was a writer. She was well-traveled. She was a part of the court. She was in Denmark, which makes sense and she was actually at the castle where the one play takes place. I can't remember if it's Hamlet or I think so, but anyway, I can't, Romeo and Juliet, I can't remember. Anyway, one of them takes place at Kronborg Castle. in Denmark, and she was there. Her family's Italian, and there's actually a lot of her family's names are peppered all through the plays. Her family were the musicians for the court, so they played the recorder, the lute, all these different instruments. So that's her whole family background. Like her brothers, her cousins were all musicians with the court. She was an accomplished player. She was a tutor.
And she was a writer who could not.
And she was a writer who could not submit her writing. And she was also the courtesan, like the mistress of a man who basically got to choose the plays. Like he was the one who, and he definitely, it seems like, counted on her like not expertise, I shouldn't say that, but her intuition,
yeah,
like her knowledge, and
for
like
sure.
she would give like strong recommendations and things. Anyway, the story, it's so fascinating because it kind of goes along with her life, and then you see her interactions with Shakespeare and how that all goes down, and it is so plausible. And so I'm like, oh my God, so often men write the history because that's how it's gone down for so long. And yeah, it's just really interesting. It's interesting to think that something like Shakespeare's work,
which is so renowned worldwide.
Correct.
We all studied in school.
Yes.
And was probably, after reading this book, a really excellent chance that he didn't write any of it.
Correct. She could have written some of it. There's probably other playwrights and other people for whatever reason that, maybe not all women, but just men for whatever reason that, maybe their station was above where they could really do this kind of thing or whatever.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just making me rethink a lot of that stuff. And then you wonder, what other things are there like this?
Right?
Because
women didn't have a voice for so long. And
Correct.
We're not, what we do here, yes, we love women and we're very pro-women, but we're not feminists by any means.
No.
That's not what we're here to do. But the fact is that, women, we couldn't vote, we couldn't do a lot of things. And there's probably a lot of parts of history that,
women played a larger part than it's ever been known.
It is.
Because women do a lot of amazing things now.
Right?
And
well, look at just a throwback out in the middle of nowhere, just because mountain reference, Shannon, Elizabeth Parker AC hut, the Alpine hut, and this dates back to the 1800s, and she was this amazing female pioneer, and you just wouldn't, if you'd never gone to the hut, you wouldn't have seen that history.
That's right.
Because we talk about all the trails and the men and the pioneering, and even when you're in the Banff Springs Hotel, the pictures of all the men hiking and pioneering, there's no women in there, and if they were, you wouldn't know it because they had to dress like men.
Yeah.
Because it was so frowned upon.
That's right.
Yeah, it's very cool. Years ago when I had my magazine, I wish I could remember her name. I ran into, how life just has it. You run everything for a reason. And I was in Queen Charlotte's in Haida Gwaii. And I was up in the north, and I was in this just dive little restaurant grabbing something to eat. And there was this beautiful, beautiful elderly lady in there, and I asked if I could take her picture, because that was one of the things I was doing, was I was taking pictures of elders and telling a bit of their history and story in one of my issues of my magazine. Well, it turns out this 90-something-year-old amazing lady pioneered and climbed all the highest mountains in North America 100 years ago, or 60, 70 years ago, and nobody knew her name. She was just this little lady who had a story to tell, and I wish I'd had the time to sit down and interview her properly and tell her story, because it was fascinating, but you can't find her name anywhere.
Oh my gosh. See, that does intrigue me, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know how at the top of, in Banff, what's the little one? Tunnel Mountain?
Yeah.
So at the top of Tunnel Mountain, there's a plaque to a local woman in Banff who climbed it every day.
It was like a ridiculous amount of time.
Years and years. Like, she's done it more than anyone else.
And so why is the mountain not named after her?
Good question. Well, I don't know. But like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's no man that's done that. But a woman did. But she's got a nice little plaque up there.
She does have a plaque at the top, but unless you climb the mountain, you won't
never
know that.
Nope, absolutely not. Yeah.
See? Fascinating. Anyways, very... not that we're going to just scream at the top of the mountain that, hey, but I would scream at the top of the mountain, hey.
I'm getting to that point. I feel like I'm so drawn that I'm, like, the book I read right before this was about women breaking into the Nassau thing. Like,
And that was a real story too, was it not?
Yes, I believe. Well, it's
Fiction, nonfiction,
yeah,
whatever,
based on truth. Like because there are women in the Nassau
Yeah.
program, but there weren't for a long time. And then so the book was about basically the women, the first women who kind of had to break through that ceiling and be eligible to be astronauts. So
You know what,
it's cool.
and we talked about this a bit yesterday, the shocking thing for me is, and you know what, it's not just women. I've had great conversations with many men in the world, and they too see that inequality is still there in so many places, which is amazing because we've come a long way.
Absolutely.
But we're still, and then there's the other side of it too, where it's gone too far in the other direction. Like we had a situation that happened with my son, and unfortunately, women's voice was never heard before, but now it seems that they have more power than they should, and they can do all these awful things and not get held accountable. So it's flipping in some ways that it shouldn't. There really needs to be just a balance, just a scales of justice across the board. Equality should be a thing in so many ways, but at the end of the day, we're also very different, right? Men are just built different, women are built different. Maybe we're not equal in many ways, yet we are in the greater scheme of things, but I mean, we're born to be the caregivers and the nurturers, and men are hardworking and the providers, and that role has shifted a bit, but the fundamentals are still there.
They are, but there's a lot of men who are really nurturing and caregiving too, and like women who are driven. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
So it's blurring.
It is starting to blur. That's a good point.
So I think people should just be able to pursue whatever feels right to them. Like if a man wants to look after his kids,
stay at home and raise the kids.
Yeah, I think that's cool too. Like you hope that people who kind of go outside their gender boundaries or whatever find a person that balances that out so that they can make it work. If both people are super driven, the family life's going to fail. But if both are just want to be at home and looking after everything, that doesn't work either.
No,
someone's got to be out there
balance,
making the money, right? Yeah.
Once again, balance. You're right, though. We've come so far in so many ways that things that were never acceptable are becoming more and more okay in society, and that's amazing. It's funny that in some ways we've come so far, and in some ways we really haven't. And in some ways we far surpassed and exceeded. It's life. But anyways, fascinating book.
Yeah, I'm so I'm just super excited about it.
And even if you don't go and read the book, I challenge anyone out there listening, look into the factual side of it, because as a former news reporter and journalist and writer, I love getting into the juicy facts of the what ifs, because it's really cool. And I'm not so much a conspiracy theorist, but I do love the hidden facts that are really there if we look, and that's what this book is.
It is, and those, they do exist. So I did Google that, and like there's pictures where apparently his right hand it looks like it's backwards, so he doesn't have a right hand.
What?
Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of weird, like basically like kind of conspiracy, and they delved into his will, which had like no
like Shakespeare's will.
Will had no books, no screenplays, like no
Nothing.
written work. Like a prolific author like that.
What you would think would have been a prolific writer in order to stand the test of time.
Like he was famous in his own time.
Yes.
It's like you had nothing you were working on, or what, like,
right?
Like nothing passed down that way. Like it just seems strange. There was a lot of like, I don't know.
It's cool.
Yeah. Even they were saying like he had a person who did his eulogy. There was a lot of weird stuff in the eulogy that kind of alluded to that, and that same person also did the dedication in a book, and it also was kind of like, look, like of course the writing back then is all like a puzzle, right?
Yes,
it's like
absolutely.
So it's like, don't look upon the name of the person or the person, but look to the words, kind of thing.
That's interesting.
Like there's a whole bunch of.
Okay, so that's so cool.
Yeah, so it's like a big mystery.
I like it.
It's a controversy.
I like it.
I do too.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. So I think you've read some great books lately.
I have, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, really good.
I don't read as much as I would love to, because I just I don't even have a reason for it because I get very into my books and I can't put them down, and my life does not afford for Shannon to sit and read nonstop for 36 hours because I can't put it down. I just get so into it. Anyways, excited. It's kind of like writing. When I'm on writing, but I can at least that I usually don't write for 24 hours.
Yeah.
A couple hours here and there, and then so it's easier to write than it is to read. But man, do I love reading, and it's so good for us. Actually, this gentleman I'm dating, whatever, says he reads 200 books a year. I can't even wrap my head around that.
That is a lot.
That's a lot.
I read a lot. Like if I could in theory read like 4 books a month. I could read a book a week.
Okay.
So
that's still 52 weeks. Yeah. I don't know. That's amazing.
That's I'm not saying I do that, but
I know.
I could if I'm really on a roll, like reading a lot. Maybe in winter kind of thing sometimes, but
I could bang out a book in 2 days, no problem, but I'd have to do nothing else. Because usually my books are around 400 or 500 pages and small print and whatever. But anyways, reading is awesome. Yeah. I'm really glad that you've read these amazing books. I found it really intriguing yesterday as we were talking about this, and just found myself lying in bed last night going, what else don't we know? And in so many ways we say, I just don't believe that the world was built on the back of one gender. I believe that behind every strong man is a strong woman, and vice versa. Behind every strong woman is a strong man.
Yeah.
So it's cool. Or there's just strong people. I mean, whatever. Anyways, let's see. Okay, on to next thing. I am off. I am leaving on Sunday to drive back to Ontario. It's a bit of an emotional. It's just emotional period. So my mom passed away in December of last year, this year, whatever, hasn't been a year yet. And the drive, I knew time was limited. I'd been taking care of her for a few months. Things were going downhill rapidly. So I had come home on the 16th after taking care of her for a week, and I was not sure she would make it till I got back on the 21st. So I was flying back and forth for a couple months, and then I decided that the boys and I we'd go back to Ontario for Christmas. So on the morning of the 19th, I believe, 19th or 20th one, I think it was the 19th. In the middle of winter, we got in the truck at 6 in the morning and drove. And I drove 18 hours the first day and made it to St. Cloud, and then got there the next day. So I left essentially at 6 in the morning from Okotoks and pulled into Southern Ontario at 11 p.m. the next day, which is kind of crazy to think you literally can drive across the majority of this country.
It's true.
So I am going to try and repeat that, but it was a very arduous drive. It was winter. The snowstorms were incredible. I drove through 11-12 hours of just insane snowstorms, which made the drive so much harder. So I'm praying that there's no sandstorms.
We're already out of Burning Man right now.
I know, Jiminy Cricket, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So hopefully there's no sandstorms or tornadoes, and it's smooth sailing, and I can be there in a couple days. But it's funny because I've been dealing really well with my mom's death, but on one hand, I keep waiting for the shoe to drop. She was my best friend. We were inseparable. I talked to her 2 to 5 to 7 times a day, every day.
Yeah.
She was the only other parent to my boys, really, and I knew it was going to be a huge hole, but the way she passed, it was just, I had all the time to have the conversations. The night before she died, she did MAID, but the night before she died, we sat up all night and talked like 2 little kids in a room and went over all the things that needed to be said, and I knew she wouldn't have lasted another week. I mean, the cancer had just taken her so quickly, and to see a woman who was so proud, so dignified, such an elegant, classy lady, reduced to what she was in the end, that disease took from her. It was time. So there was closure. There was no way she would ever, there was not a what if scenario like when my brother died and things like that. I mean, her time was up.
Yeah.
She went out on her terms. We got to say everything we needed to say. It was good. So it's been this weird, it's more closure than I've ever had with any other death. And I don't know if I've mentioned it before in here, but I'm pretty well just finished a book called My Love-Hate Relationship with Death, and because I've had so much death in my life, and so much of it without closure, like just sudden deaths and how they just rock you. So this one is the first time that I've had real closure. My dad died, but his wife and the Reverend Dawn were just a nightmare through all of that. So there was so much angst and anger and just awfulness surrounding my dad's death, and I never got to have the conversations with him because she wouldn't let me near him, and just it was all this awful stuff. So that was years of baggage and crap, and none of it is there with my mom.
Yeah.
So I've had a few moments where I've been really teary or I'll miss her or something,
Mm-hmm.
but otherwise I keep going, am I gonna fall apart today?
Yeah.
And I miss her sometimes a lot, but there's not that emotional upheaval that I've had in the past. I don't want to scream and cry, and which I have so many times, losing my brother and my dad and other people, just that horrible pain of loss and void, and it's all consuming. Like it comes from the inside out, and you literally just want, I've literally sat and screamed at the world in anger and anguish, and there's just been none of that. So I've been kind of like
waiting for
maybe Christmas, it's going to come. We're back to that.
Probably.
And I expect Christmas to be hard, and I
Yeah.
expect certain days to be hard. We share the same birthday. We're both born January 7th, so I have no interest in celebrating my birthday for a while, but that's fine. So I've been waiting, and then all of a sudden this week comes along, and then yesterday I was like, I started to really feel that heavy emotional toll. And then today I was just went to say something to Gary, and I'm like, all of a sudden the tears are flowing. I'm like, oh my gosh, stop. So I expect it to be a hard drive, but I do my best thinking and healing when I drive or when I hike. I think I'm really dreading just packing up my mom's life.
Yeah.
I've packed up a lot of it, but there's still a lot to do, and I think the hardest moment is going to be walking out that door for the last time.
Yeah, for sure.
See, I can't, just thinking about it, I get emotional.
Yeah. That makes
So
sense.
thankfully Jordan will be there, which will help a bit, but that's going to...
It will be hard.
It is!
For anyone, I think that's a big step. I think maybe, I don't know for sure, but maybe part of the reason it hasn't affected you so much yet is that you've had so much change since your mom was such a big part of your everyday life before, but you have changed almost your entire life.
I have, yeah.
Since she passed away. So there's not as much to remind you. This will remind you.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
You're in her home.
Yeah, and I'll be driving the road the day I knew that she had 17 hours left to live and all of that. So I'll be face to face with it, which... I think I was too numb those 3 weeks after she passed. I was just trying to organize and get out of there. But
well, you remember, because I actually had never been to your mom's house, but I was there.
Yes. We were there in February.
We were there together, a couple months after. Just it wasn't planned. It just kind of weirdly the universe.
It was
made that
so
happen.
great that happened.
But you know what? I think it was because it was a good distraction, and I think it was different. Because you were in your mom's house. It was the first time you were back there, I think, since after she passed away. But there were people there that didn't fit there, that weren't part of the memories there. So that kind of maybe made that a bit easier too, in a weird sort of way.
And it did, because Mom would have loved it.
Yeah.
The four of us sitting around, shooting the bird, having a drink, laughing, talking, with the storm raging outside, and in her beautiful home. Like, my mom's house is so gorgeous. So, and I'm so glad I got to share that with you and Julia as well.
It was nice.
So that you have an image of what and how my mom she was such a class act. Like, wow. Anyways, So you're right, but I am expecting to have my core rocked. I'm trying to mentally prepare myself for the emotional upheaval that's coming in turmoil, and it's a hard one. It's a necessity, and I really I said this since my brother died, that until you have lost someone you loved, love doesn't take on a full form. Like, you can love somebody, but when you know what it's like to have lost love, you love differently.
Yeah,
you love wholly and completely.
That's true.
Yeah, it's a different. I would not wish loss on anyone, especially of a loved one. But it sure changes everything in life. It changes. I've learned so many lessons from death. Henceforth, the book. I have learned more valuable, incredible lessons from losing somebody in many ways than I had from living. Because I've lived a better life because of what I've lost.
You can't take things for granted in the same way.
Nope, because tomorrow's not promised, right?
And we can say that, but it's different to really live it and believe it. Where I feel like I'm someone that hasn't suffered much loss, and it's not that I take my relationships for granted, but I kind of do. I don't. I sort of feel like, whatever, I'll talk to them next week.
Right, and you and I have talked about this a lot.
Yeah. It is a different way of looking at the world, and I'm like, oh, they're fine. I'll talk to my parents. Like,
And I've said to you how many times, you haven't talked to your kids in how long? Oh my
I
gosh!
know.
Or I'm like panic if I haven't talked to my kids on a regular basis just because
Yeah.
who knows, right?
Right.
Yeah. And
Or I just assume everybody's there. They're going to be there when I text them or call them next week or whenever I do. And yeah, it is different.
it is.
It's a different way of being in the world.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, and you know what? That's a gift. That is such a wonderful gift. And there are people out there like you who are just so blessed to have had, not that you haven't had heartache and loss, and because you have, and trauma in your life, absolutely. But it's just that's that different, and it's a almost a little bit more peaceful way because you don't have that underlying fear, and it is a fear at the end of the day. As much as I'd like to say it's not like a fear of the dark or a fear of spiders or something, it's the fact that I need to make sure before I leave to the people I love that I say I love you, and because it may be the last time.
Yeah.
And you don't get that until you've lost someone that you never got to say that to.
Yeah. I think I can appreciate that without having experienced that. But it's
because you've kind of gone through it with me.
But it's hard to change the way you are. Like we just are who we are. And
no, nor should you.
Yeah.
Because we all bring these huge, valuable things to this world from who we are, and you bring an amazing gift and ability to do that, and just have that lightness about you. And so that's a real gift. When you're struggling, when I'm struggling, and I'm down in the trenches, and you're there, you're just like, boo! It's light, and everything's gonna be all right, and blah blah blah. And a part of me goes, no, gosh damn it, Crystal, it's not gonna be freaking right.
I want to
right
down here.
Wait a minute.
Feel this.
Exactly. But on the other hand of it, yeah, it sucks right now, but it's not gonna last forever. So to have that lovely balance with somebody like you in my life who goes, okay, well, next, it's great. I love it. It's good. I think we balance each other out really well.
We do. Yeah. And I love that we have these conversations. Like when we're driving out to a hike or something, we never listen to music.
We never have. It's been 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years.
Of like.
And listened once when you shared Erica Sunshine with me.
Yeah.
That's it. Otherwise, we don't. We
don't. Which is kind of strange. Like any other time I'm in a car, I kind of like having music on.
Yeah.
And you do too.
Yeah.
But we
all the time.
We never listen to music. We're just always we talk about these same kinds of things. Yeah. We talk about different ideas and
all the way out, all the way up, all the way down, and all the way back.
Pretty much. Yeah. Unless I'm dragging my behind you and going up.
She was a little quiet on our second haul up Ptarmigan. We were talking about that yet, but she was a little quiet. I
was
dragged you up and down at a rapid rate, but well, it's so good. Yeah, so next week's a hard week for me emotionally, but I thank you for giving me balance yesterday. That was just so glorious, and it's really important to have good friends. And there's another thing, I don't think we tell the people in our lives enough how much we appreciate them and how lucky we are to have good friends. Like we're
really good about that.
We're so blessed to have good friends in our life and good people. And I have amazing friends. I get to go and hike with one of my amazing friends I haven't seen in so long, the wild child, Erin. She's just epic. We have to have her on one here.
Oh my gosh,
that will be the next level podcast. We'll have to
It'll be fire.
Absolute fire.
Oh my God,
we might have to censor a few things. We'll have to put a warning on that one.
We might. But it's worth it.
It totally is worth it. Oh my gosh, she's a blast.
She is awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to get Michelle on. We're gonna. We've been talking about this too. You're a big traveler. I love to travel, but you travel way more than I. You've been very blessed with that, and you're at a point now where you just want to stay home.
Yeah, I'm kind of burnt out a little bit.
And I'm the same. I am at a point where I just want to work. I just want to settle in. I want to write. I want to create. But I've got all these amazing things going on. I got to go back to Ontario, and then I'm going to Nevada, and then we're going to the island, and I'm almost looking for. And it's interesting because it's going to time it out that you and I are both finally. When winter comes, which is actually when everything does want to hibernate. So I think I'm intrigued to see what this winter brings for us. I think we're both going to really enjoy a little bit of downtime and a little bit of.
I think so too.
Yeah, rejuvenate. Yeah, hibernate.
Yeah, I can see that. Just regrouping.
Yeah,
less.
Totally.
I don't know, planning and doing and all that stuff.
And more just being in the moment.
Yeah,
I agree. So that's what we're looking forward to. Yeah, there we go. And look, we're already at 35 minutes. We're rocking and rolling here today. See, time flies.
It does.
This is how we spend 8 hours together and never listen to music.
Yes.
Oh, Jiminy Cricket. All right, takeaways from this week. Tell people you love them. Do not take life for granted. There's always a story behind the story. Right?
I like it.
Yeah, I strongly urge people to maybe delve into the world of Shakespeare a little more and see what really is behind there, and read. Find some time to read. And women are awesome, men are awesome too, but if you want to scream from the top of a mountain this week, I kick ass! Yeah, I think that's not a bad thing.
You probably will use a little of that.
Yeah, I think we could. Like Superman power, whatever that is, and just, treat yourself properly, love yourself, love those around you, tell people you love them, tell them why. Smile at a stranger, just because you never know what they're going through that day.
True enough.
Yeah. All right, so until next week.
Whenever that is. Well, probably not next week.
Oh, I'm going to try to sneak it in. But okay, it won't be next week. It'll be the 2 days in between crazy Ontario basket caseness and epic Havasu Falls, Nevada.
Yeah. That'll be good. That'll be a good one.
I know.
So that wherever that is, that might not be next week, maybe the week after.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Doesn't matter.
No,
we're not.
People can just binge listen to these anyway.
That's right. Yes, because you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, these chicks are awesome.
Time is not a thing.
No, I'm gonna sit and watch every episode of these two girls. Jiminy Cricket.
Can't get enough.
Right? Holy head of that, man. We're awesome. All right, on that note, everybody have a fantastic week. Thanks for listening. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Crystal.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.